Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome back to Outlaws, Gunslingers with your host Bang and Dang. It's the first week of the month.
It's the first of the month.
So you guys know what that means. It means it's Mafia
It's time to listen to Mafia episodes and get crunk. People say crunked anymore?
I don't think so.
Did they ever?
Well, people did. Some people did.
Not me.
We got two more Gambino family members here. We're done with the actual boss.
We've heard this guy before, though.
We have not heard.
Aniello.
We have not. We've talked about him a lot.
Aniello Dellacroce.
But now we're going to hear his life story. We got two different sides of the coin here.
I think I like Aniello better than Neil.
Aniello Dellacroce.
Aniello.
And Tommy Bilotti. Dellacroce was mentored Gotti. And we know Bilotti was killed alongside old Castellano in the Gotti hit. Two different sides of the coin, same family. So we're going to learn about both of them. Aniello Dellacroce, Tommy Bilotti.
Hope he ain't as dumb as Gotti.
Who, Aniello?
Yeah.
He's an old guy, though.
Yeah.
He's an old guy. I don't think he is.
Right.
He was supposed to be the boss. We'll get there. Before we get started, go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network, where you can get the Outlaws and Gunslingers podcast, complete with Hells Angels, Mafia, our remastered series, plus Serial Killers, and our other podcast, Battles of the American Civil War. We'll leave the link in the description for both of our YouTube channels. We got a dark channel as well. If you listen on Spotify, Apple, give us a subscription, give us a review, share us with your friends, answer that Spotify question. And John Aniello Dellacroce. He was the underboss of the Gambino crime family. Born March 15th, 1914, New York City. Oh, New York City in 14?
Look at that shit.
To Francesco and Antoinette Dellacroce, who was first-generation immigrants from Italy, clearly. He grew up in Little Italy section of Manhattan. His nickname, Neil, was an Americanization of Aniello, right? Dellacroce had one brother, Carmine.
Well, when he was just a young little boy, teenager, Dellacroce, he became a butcher's assistant. But work was scarce, and he took to crime. Later on in 1930s, Dellacroce joined the Mangano crime family, forerunner of the Gambino family, and soon became involved with underboss Albert Anastasia. After the disappearance of longtime boss Vincent Mangano, Anastasia became family boss, and he promoted Dellacroce to capo. Due to his square-shaped face, some Gambino members nicknamed him the Polak.
Oh, geez.
A nickname never used within his earshot.
Hey, aren't they all? Ooh. Aren't all these nicknames never used within earshot?
I'm pretty sure Italians didn't like to be called Polak.
Right. Why would you? During the early years of his career, Dellacroce built up a reputation as a clever and extremely brutal gangster. He used to dress as a priest to avoid attention, calling himself Father O'Neill, and cheerfully greeted policemen on their beats. He allegedly committed a murder dressed as a priest one time.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now they'd be like, there's a cop killing, or there's a priest killing somebody.
He showed little fear of the law and, in fact, enjoyed taunting officers. One occasion, he found two policemen taping him and reportedly forced officers to eat the tape at gunpoint. Oh, I don't know about that. 24, 30, that was 1930s probably. So,
Maybe, right. He also used his gun to execute brutal murders that made use of its chilling gaze. He likes to peer into a victim's face, like some kind of dark angel at the moment of death. That's what one federal prosecutor said. His eyes had no color, as if his soul was transparent.
He's the devil in disguise.
Right, that's what a reporter said, and they probably never even looked into his eyes. Dellacroce was one of the scariest individuals I've ever met in my life, said one mob investigator.
We got to attach some names or what?
Dellacroce's eyes were like he didn't have any eyes. Did you ever see Children of the Damned? His eyes were so blue that they weren't even there. It was like looking right through him, that same mob investigator said.
Jeez. Well, Dellacroce bought the Ravenite Social Club in Little Italy. You guys might remember that name from, that's what Gotti took over. That soon became his headquarters. On October 25th, 1957, gunmen murdered Anastasia in a Manhattan hotel barbershop.
Dead.
And then Carlo Gambino took over the family.
You guys who were with us all this time, you heard the story, or if you guys are familiar with that, you've seen the pictures.
Right. In 1965, Gambino removed the agent Joseph Biondo from his underboss position, and O'Neill got to replace him. He said, come on, Neil, you're up with me now.
According to records from Knapp Commission, which investigated police corruption in a number of industries, beginning in 1970. Dellacroce and other mobsters, they were involved in after-hours bars that catered to homosexuals in the West Village, Manhattan. Really? I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
man, remember that one?
Right.
Matty guy had fucking several of them.
1971, Dellacroce was sentenced to 1 year in state prison on contempt charges for refusing to answer grand jury questions about organized crime. 2nd of May, 1972, he was indicted on federal tax evasion charges as well. Right.
Well, that's because in return for labor peace, the Yankee Plastics Company of New York gave Dellacroce 22,500 stock shares worth $112,500. He was indicted on failure to pay those federal income tax on those stocks.
Oh, shit.
I might just pay your taxes, guy.
Right.
March 73, Dellacroce was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined $15,000.
That's insane. Just take the money from the guy. Why would you go to prison for tax evasion? That's just retarded.
October 15th, 1976, Carlo Gambino died at his home of natural causes. And we all know, against expectations, he had appointed Paul Castellano to succeed him over the underboss Dellacroce, who was in prison at this time.
Did not go over well.
No.
Gambino appeared to believe that his crime family would benefit from Castellano's focus on white-collar businesses. Well, Dellacroce at this time was in prison for tax evasion and was unable to contest Castellano's succession. Castellano's secession was confirmed at a meeting on 24th November with Dellacroce present.
Well, he's got out and nothing you can do about it now.
Castellano arranged for Dellacroce to remain as an underboss while directly running traditional Cosa Nostra activities such as extortion, robbery, and loan sharking. So he's like, man, you're still like an important part of this family, guy.
Well, Dellacroce accepted Castellano's secession. The deal effectively split the Gambino family into two rival factions.
Just like the old Bonanno.
Gambino's death was an impetus for Aniello to consider his own heir, which we all know he eventually settled on a young man who named John Gotti. John Gotti, who had long been an associate with the family. Dellacroce filled Gotti's head with tales of life in the old Mafia under Anastasia.
Right.
Moved by Dellacroce's story, Gotti officially joined his crew as a capo shortly after his release from prison for hijacking. He would quickly raise his stock in the Gambino family through successful hits and other lucrative schemes.
Right. Well, Castellano, on the other hand, had ordered that no one in his family would deal drugs.
Yeah.
Dellacroce agreed with this and warned his crew that if he found out if any of them were dealing, he would kill them himself. Of course, by this time, Gotti was heavily involved in drug trafficking. Oh, jeez. One of Gotti's associates was eventually arrested for dealing heroin. Castellano's suspicion immediately fell upon Gotti himself and also his close friend, Angelo Ruggiero.
At first, Dellacroce went out of his way to protect Gotti and Ruggiero from Castellano. When tapes from prosecutors revealed Ruggiero had been insulting Castellano, Dellacroce refused to turn the tapes over to the Gambino family head, knowing that Castellano would indeed kill him. Dellacroce seemed to also have shared some of Ruggiero's distaste for Castellano. In spite of his own sinister warnings early, Dellacroce truly did not want to kill
of course not.
Either of them.
Because he was making money off it too, even though he didn't like it.
And plus, that's his heir, man.
Right.
Can't do that.
Well, he also didn't want to start a war, though, inside the whole family. His mediation kept the Gambino family from dissolving into a civil war and Castellano from murdering his crew members. I've been trying to take your part with these tapes from the very, very beginning. Then all we got to do then, we go, roll it up, and go to war. Dellacroce told Ruggiero on one of the tapes. Oh, okay.
But for Gotti, the case of the tapes was even more detrimental. He was recorded insulting Dellacroce for some of his decisions.
Oh, no.
I told him, Neil's not going to like this, a detective said to Gotti upon the prosecution. And it was the only time I've ever seen him look remorseful. He's like, shit.
Wow.
It is evident from the fact that despite his gossip, Gotti had some real respect for Dellacroce, obviously. In turn, Dellacroce respected Gotti's potential. He continually pushed the idea that Gotti should eventually take over control of his crews. For obvious reasons, Castellano didn't share his enthusiasm for Gotti.
Yeah, which we all know.
Right.
1979, Dellacroce, along with Anthony Plate, were arrested for the 1974 murder of a New York City bookmaker named Charles Calisi. FBI believed that Dellacroce had ordered Plate to murder Calisi because he was an informant. While on trial, well, guess what? Oh, Anthony Plate disappeared.
Wow.
Guess what happened after that? Mistrial, baby.
Usually is. February 25th, 85, Dellacroce was indicted along the leaders of the other New York Five families as part of the Mafia Commission trial. March 28th, 85, Dellacroce, along with his son Armand and 8 others, was indicted on federal racketeering charges regarding the activities of 2 crews in the New York and Long Island area. In June of 85, a Doonesbury comic featuring Frank Sinatra and Dellacroce together and saying that Dellacroce was charged with the murder of Khalid resulted in many papers not running the comic strip.
1st of July, 1985, Dellacroce and the other New York Mafia leaders pled not guilty to a second set of racketeering charges. 2nd December 1985, died of cancer, age 71. Mary Immaculate Hospital in Queens. Wow, didn't even make it, 6 months afterward.
Yeah, but he never went to prison.
All right. After Dellacroce's death in 1985, Castellano revised his succession plan, appointing Thomas Bilotti as underboss and making plans to break up Gotti's crew. Infuriated by both this and Castellano's failure to tend Dellacroce's wake, Gotti resolved to kill his boss.
Well, we all know what happened next, because a planned meeting of Castellano and other Gambino mobsters at Spark Steakhouse, December 16th, 1985, was chosen by Gotti as the opportunity to have him napped.
Yep, get him napped.
When the boss and underboss arrived that evening, they were ambushed and shot dead by assassins under Gotti's command.
Shit.
Gotti watched the hit from his car with Sammy Gravano. April 88, Dellacroce's son Armand died while hiding in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. What?
Oh, the Pocono Mountains? Holy shit.
Yeah, Pocono Mountains. Wow, what's this dude hiding out there for? Oh, now we know.
Well, he'd been convicted of racketeering and had failed to appear for sentencing in March. That's why he was hiding. Cause of death was listed as cirrhosis and a cocaine overdose. Oh, poor guy. In the TV movie Getting Gotti in 1994, Dellacroce is portrayed by Peter Boretsky. In the TV movie Gotti in 1996, Dellacroce is portrayed by Anthony Quinn. Also in the TV movie Boss of Bosses 2001, he's portrayed by Dayton Cali. Well, Stacy Keach portrays Dellacroce in the John Gotti biopic Gotti in 2018, directed by Kevin Connolly and starring John Travolta as Gotti himself. Perhaps the film's most memorable scene, Keach as Dellacroce teaches Travolta's Gotti the names of the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Why would Gotti have to know that?
2018 television series Kingpin in 2018, obviously. Dellacroce is portrayed by Ralph Bracco.
Right. Well, there you go. There's old Aniello Dellacroce. Not much on this guy. I think we had more of Castellano and Gotti's story on this one. That's what you're going to get.
I mean...
But this Thomas Bilotti guy, he's got actually a pretty decent story. Thomas Bilotti, who briefly served as underboss of the Gambino crime family.
Yeah, because he got murked.
Yes, he did. It was his promotion that helped trigger the 85. Yes. He was the son of Italian immigrants, Lillian and Anthony Bilotti. He was born on the Staten Island borough of New York City. As a young man, Bilotti became an associate of the crew of Johnny D. DeLazio, who was a capo in the Gambino crime family who controlled illegal gambling and other rackets on Staten Island.
Fantastic. He later became a criminal associate of John's brother, Alexander Pope DeLazio, and Mikey D. DeLazio. Bilotti, he also spent time as chauffeur and bodyguard of Alexander the Ox DeBrizzi, which was an uncle of DeLazio's brothers who controlled the Staten Island waterfront from Gambino crime family.
It's a hell of a racket. You control the whole waterfront. It's all the beaches and all that shit.
Right. He became an integral member of the DeLazio crew and was involved in labor, racketeering, extortion, loan sharking. Year 1969, Bilotti arrested Staten Island on felony charge possessing stolen property.
He gained a reputation for violence. In one incident, Bilotti assaulted Colombo crime family's associate Robert Pate.
Oh, no.
The FBI agents Joseph O'Brien and Andrus Currens described Bilotti in the book Boss of Bosses, The Fall of the Godfather, the FBI and Paul Castellano. Why is it so long?
Right.
They said he was basically a pit bull with shoes on.
All right.
If he had a business ability beyond choreographing a shakedown or calculating the interest owed on Shylock loans, it didn't show.
Oh.
That's all he was good for. He's just beating the shit out of people.
In an environment not known for its conversational finesse, Bilotti distinguished himself by spluttering inarticulateness. He was short, 5'7".
Man.
He was a stubby, rock-solid 220.
Damn.
He wore a bad toupee.
Oh, why are you wearing a toupee, bro?
He had no tact, no charm, and not even 1 ounce of a sense of humor.
He's just over there to kick ass and take names, man.
He had the biggest mouth you ever seen, pickish eyes that were too close together.
Oh, no.
2 of the concept of self-control. He was a stranger.
Never knew what that meant.
Bilotti was a reputed hitman for DeLazio's crew and was allegedly involved in at least 11 murders.
Yeah, he made his home at 33 Kensington Avenue on Staten Island in April 1870 when he had an accomplice, Thomas Papaneer, and they were observed discarding firearms and arrested following a shooting in Jamesburg, New Jersey.
You stupid fucks.
Bilotti and Papanier were apprehended as they ran from the scene of the shooting, in which African-American teenager Emery Parks suffered superficial injuries when he was struck in the back of the head by birdshot pellets.
Ooh.
The quick arrest of the pair occurred as the Jamesburg area was in the midst of significant racial tension after riots at the local high school, and police from Spotswood and Monroe Township were on alert.
Makes sense.
You can't be doing that.
Although the Popo suspected that the duo were responsible for Parks' injuries, Bilotti and Papanier, they were initially charged with carrying a concealed weapon, carrying a pistol without a permit, also failing to secure a permit to purchase a pistol. That's all they cared about. You get no permits.
Well, if you're carrying a pistol without a permit, you also failed to secure a permit to purchase. So they're just like, let's make these two separate charges when they're not.
Right. A Middlesex County grand jury, they ultimately indicted the men only for illegal possession of concealed weapons. Year 1971. John Delezio.
Well, they got off.
Right. John Delezio, 1971, allegedly recruited Thomas Bilotti and his brother, Joseph, to murder Tommy Edwards Ernst, the common law husband of Delezio's daughter, Teresa. Oh, common law. They weren't married, but together for more than 7 years.
Ernst, who was in debt to two Staten Island mobsters, survived an initial attempt on his life at Grasmere Diner on August 31st, 1971. He then agreed to meet with Delezio at the Wild Acres Bar in Dingman's Ferry, near Delezio's summer home in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania, on September 2nd, 1971. After leaving Delezio Country Mansion on his way to the meeting, Ernst's Cadillac was overtaken by three men in a car who opened fire. However, this murder attempt also failed when Teresa Delezio was not supposed to be present, and she returned fire with a semi-automatic rifle. She's like, fuck you! You're taking my husband out.
Oh, wow. Ernst reportedly identified the two shooters to the Pennsylvania State Popo before withdrawing the identification. Oh. He was ultimately killed on the 6th of April, 1972, when he was ambushed and shot twice by an unidentified gunman on the porch of John Delezio's home at 151 Jumel Street in the Great Kills, where he had been making a visit to Teresa Delezio, his old common law wife.
He was visiting his wife, and Daddy said, come get him.
To go. Bilotti's first wife, Catherine, died of cancer in her mid-30s. And he subsequently remarried to Donna, which was a Brooklyn beauty parlor owner.
This dude is Baklava.
What?
What's his name? Bobby Baklava.
Oh, right.
Is he modeled after this guy? You know, right. Short, fat, wife died, remarried. Interesting. He had a severely autistic son who had been institutionalized since childhood, and although Bilotti visited the boy regularly, he rarely spoke of him. Bilotti was best man at the wedding of actor Gianni Russo, who was a fellow native of Staten Island. Okay. Another Bilotti brother, Jimmy, worked for the singer Frank Sinatra in Las Vegas for several years during the 70s and 80s.
Fantastic.
Over the years, Bilotti became a close aide-de-camp and confidant of another Gambino capo, Paul Castellano, who reportedly saw so much potential in the ambitious Bilotti and took him on as a protege.
Oh, look at that shit. He served Castellano's primary chauffeur, bodyguard, and enforcer. Although Castellano had worked very hard to cultivate a sophisticated image, he chose the thuggish Bilotti as his protege.
It's the thuggish, ruggish Bilotti.
Because he was very vigilant, he was hardworking, fearless, and above all, loyal.
Loyal. That's what, I mean, that's got to be like number one, yeah, above all.
Right. The agents describe his traits. As long as he was waiting on Paul Castellano, Tommy Bilotti was differential, subdued, watchful yet calm, like a dog on a rug. His self-esteem derived from adoration of the master, and he could afford to be well-behaved.
Jeez.
Damn.
Talk about belittling somebody.
You ain't kidding. Shit. That's why he said he was a pit bull with shoes, I guess.
Problems occurred, however, when Bilotti was sent on errands of his own.
Oh, shit.
Out of sight of the boss, he got rambunctious. He tried to play the big shot. He overdid things.
Usually how it goes.
He got creative in a sadistic sort of way and embroidered gratuitous cruelty through what should have been straightforward business transactions, said that guy that said that he was a dog.
Right.
One of the agents.
Right. Well,
in one incident, Bilotti entered a Staten Island bar armed with a baseball bat to collect an interest payment from the owner, who was still recovering and trying to pay medical bills from the last time that Bilotti went and beat his ass.
Oh, shit.
Like, come on, dude.
Holy shit.
How are you supposed to get your money?
He berated the bar patrons and the owner before unzipping his pants and ordering the bar owner to put his mouth on him, saying to the patrons looking on, "You see, he likes it."
Wow, apparently you like it.
Well, FBI agent O'Brien, he was warned by Bruce Mao, the supervisor of the FBI Squad C-16, which was assigned to investigate the Gambino crime family. He said, "Listen here, O'Brien, don't ever talk to Tommy Bilotti alone. He doesn't play by the rules, and he has a very short fuse. In an incident when O'Brien followed Bilotti to a beauty parlor owned by his second wife, Donna, Bilotti left the parlor by a back door, entered another car, and pulled up next to the vehicle from which O'Brien was carrying out surveillance, and he confronted the agent.
Describing Bilotti's demeanor during the encounter, O'Brien said, "Now, most people, when they're building up to a fit of rage, need some give and take, some goading to get them really psyched.
Right.
Not Tommy Bilotti. When he got mad, it was like a nuclear reactor going into a meltdown. Once a certain threshold was reached, the process just fed on itself. The voltage increasing exponentially until the fuel was all used up and everything within a certain radius had been leveled.
Man.
Said his voice got louder and louder. He made less and less sense. Soon he was just spitting out curses wrapped in random phrases. His face purple, his nostrils distended, ropey veins standing out on his pit bull neck.
Oh, man.
Jeez. Following the death of Carlo Gambino, Castellano was elevated, yes. And we know his decision to appoint Castellano essentially split the family into two factions. Castellano's white-collar branch and the old blue-collar wing headed by underboss Aniello Dellacroce.
Aniello Dellacroce. Bilotti was inducted as a made member of the family in October 1977. His older bro, Joseph, followed suit in 1980. Castellano moved into a custom-built palatial mansion at 177 Benedict Road atop Staten Island's Tot Hill in 1980.
I bet you that's like the Hollywood Hills of Staten Island.
Bilotti moved into a less ostentatious home nearby. He's like, I don't need that big old thing. I just live over here. He was a regular visitor and dinner guest at Castellano's mansion. He was considered a close family friend.
I would assume.
However, when Castellano started an affair with his live-in maid, Gloria Olate, Bilotti kept it a secret from Castellano's wife, Nina. So?
Okay, yeah. Just because he's a close family friend, he knows damn well he ain't going to tell on the boss. What the fuck? Bilotti, along with Salvatore Barbado, also provided security for Castellano in his estate. Bilotti and Castellano regularly vacationed together at Pompano Beach, Florida.
All right.
Castellano promoted Bilotti to capo in the fall of '81, and he oversaw a crew of soldiers that included his brother Joseph and John Gambino.
Look at that.
In addition to maintaining a large loan shark and book, Bilotti was granted lucrative new business ventures by Castellano.
Look at that
and everybody
shit.
was like, this fucking guy?
Right.
Fucking Tommy?
Holy shit, this dude's gonna fucking put us all in jail. The pair were partners in the Scholar Mix, which is a concrete supply company headquartered at 2537 Richmond Terrace, West New Brighton, which continuously won profitable contracts.
I wonder how.
Company obtained more than $2 million worth of subcontracts on the city and transit authority construction projects between the years 1984 and 1986. Paul's son, Philip Castellano, installed as president of Scholar Mix, and Bilotti served as the company's vice president.
Oh, jeez.
Overseeing day-to-day activities on various construction projects in New York City and New Jersey, in which the old Gambino family had interest in.
He was also heavily involved in the Steam Fitters Local 638 of the Plumbers Union.
Pipe fitters, not flitters.
That was represented by George Daly, who was an associate who belonged to the Bilotti crew. Daly served as Local 638's business agent until 1987. He got convicted for soliciting bribes to ensure labor peace. Aniello Dellacroce's death from cancer December 2nd, 1985, we all know started a chain of events that led to Castellano and Bilotti's murder.
Usually how it works out, right? The main conspirators who composed the faction were Gotti, Joseph Joe Piney Armone, Frankie D. DeCico, DeChico, Robert D. Bernardo, they call him DB. I would too.
Right.
And Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano. They were all collectively known as the Fist. Like the SmackDown, if you guys ever watched SmackDown.
Right.
Several factors contributed to the conspiracy to kill Castellano. His failure to attend Dellacroce's wake was an insult to Dellacroce's family and his followers.
Yep.
Secondly, Castellano named his bodyguard Bilotti as new underboss.
Yep.
A decision that was an insult to other members of the family. Castellano also hinted that he planned on breaking up Gotti's crew over rumors of drug dealing, which was all true.
Well, Gravano suggested killing both Castellano and Bilotti while they were eating breakfast at a diner. For all those of you who've stuck around since Aniello Dellacroce's story, you already know.
Right.
And, well, since Castellano's story, really. However, when DeChico tipped Gotti off that he would be having a meeting with Castellano and several other Gambino mobsters at Sparks Steakhouse December 16th, Gotti and the other conspirators decided to kill him then.
At least he got a steak. I hope he got a steak.
Maybe. No, because he was getting out of the car.
All right, didn't even get a steak.
Right. Monday, December 16th, 1985, Bilotti drove Castellano to the prearranged early evening meeting at the steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan, which is located East 46th Street near 3rd Avenue. Damn, dude, they did it right in frickin', it's right in town.
There was a hit team there. Salvatore Scala, Edward Lino, John Cornelia, They waited near the restaurant entrance. Positioned down the street were backup shooters Dominique Pizzonia, Angelo Ruggiero, and Tony Rampino. John Gotti, along with Gravano, they observed the scene from a car across the street. As Castellano was exiting the car at the front of the restaurant, 5:26 p.m., the gunman ran up and shot him several times. Allegedly, Carneglio was the gunman who shot Castellano in the head. Bilotti shot as he exited from the driver's door. Before leaving the murder scene, Gotti drove past the two just to view the bodies.
Yeah, Bilotti is buried 50 yards away from Castellano in the Moravian Cemetery of New Dorp, Staten Island. He left behind 10 children, including a 6-week-old baby daughter. His wife, Donna, suffered a nervous breakdown and a miscarriage. What? He has a 6-week-old baby daughter, but then she had a miscarriage? So she was pregnant. Oh, wait. Is a 6-week-old baby from like a mistress or something? Had to have been.
Maybe. Right?
There's no way because he had a 6-week-old baby daughter.
Right.
And a miscarriage his wife suffered. Jeez.
Holy shit.
Bilotti's lucrative loan sharking business was overtaken by Joe Watts, who was given Bilotti's Shylock book as a reward for acting as a backup shooter in the assassination.
Wow.
His former home on Staten Island was later purchased by the actor Steven Seagal. Didn't he get... who tried to extort him? Remember, it was a mafia guy. It was one of the Gottis, wasn't it? It was Junior Gotti, I believe. Yeah, jeez.
5 years after the murder of Castellano, Gotti arrested. FBI said, "Come on, boys." In late 1990 on racketeering charges. Let's go get this Gotti. Let's get Gotti, right? Let's get Gotti.
Get Gotti.
And then they got Gotti.
Gotti got got.
Gotti got got. Gotti get. Gotti got get. Gotta get Gotti, and then Gotti got. That's shirts they wear. Right. The front said "Gotta get Gotti," and the back said "Gotti got." Boom. April 2nd, 1992. Whoa. Yeah, they got him on racketeering charges and denied bail. 10 days later, he was. 2nd of April, 1992, with the help of Gravano becoming government witness, Gotti was convicted of numerous racketeering charges, including the 1985 Castellano and Bilotti murders. June 23, Gotti sentenced to life in federal prison. He died of throat cancer a decade later in 2002. Movie, Bosses of Bosses, Bilotti is portrayed by actor Richard Frangi. Richard Frangi. I'm sure he's a well-known guy. Sure. 1996 made-for-TV movie Gotti. Bilotti is portrayed by actor Ron Gabriel.
Apparently he wasn't in Get Gotti or Gotti.
He had to have been.
Well, whatever. Good for him if he wasn't. Worst movie ever made.
Wasn't that bad.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean, like we've said 100 times, especially dealing with the same family, multiple people, we're going to have multiple same stories.
And it's Mafia, you're not going to have that much information on these motherfuckers.
Right. Well, that's going to do it for Aniello Dellacroce and Tommy Bilotti. Next week, we're going to have Frank DiCicco and Joseph Armone.
Unless you get these guys wiretaps or whatever, or these guys FBI notes from the dudes that are following them.
Frank DiCicco and Frankie Armone, or Joseph Armone, are coming up next. At least they got kind of a different little story where they're not like...
I would hope so.
We're not going to hear about the freaking... 100 times, but then we got Roy DeMeo, which we've mentioned maybe like once or twice. He got moited, but he's got probably one of the biggest stories of everybody in here. I don't know how.
It's crazy. Happens.
He's got a nice story, and then we'll cover Angelo Ruggiero, who's got himself a nice little story. And then we'll finally end the Gambino family with Sammy the Bull himself, wrap it up, and then we'll move on to either Lucchese or Colombo.
One of the two.
But, yep, that's our Mafia outlook. Stay tuned next week when we're going to cover Hell's Angels. Once again, this time, last month's episode was covering crimes in California. This month's episode is going to be crimes in the rest of the United States, which, just like California, there's a lot of them. It's going to be a rapid-fire crime.
Ridiculous.
So if you guys are interested in the Mafia stuff and you don't watch the rest of our stuff, we highly recommend the Hell's Angels because there's a lot of shit going on with these guys. So, and then... yeah, make sure you go checking out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network. And then if you're on Spotify, Apple, give us a review, share us with your friends, answer that Spotify question. We'll be back next week for said United States crimes committed by the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. We'll see you then. We are the Month of Michiganders.
Bang Dang.